Hello, people. It's another beautiful day in New York. In my car, doing what I usually do best. Today I want to talk about this whole thing going on with the discourse on kink and pride. Now, first off, I'm gonna make this statement very clear on my position on this. Personally, I think this whole discourse is bullshit for a couple of reasons. Number one, why is this now being brought up in the discourse? First off, this was never brought up in previous discourses about pride. It would show up, but it would basically be an irrelevant conversation. All of a sudden, this is a major conversation. So I'm wondering what the fuck is going on here. That's number one. The second thing, some of you people that are self proclaimed leftists, though, to be honest, I think some of you guys are left liberals, to be quite honest with you, and some who are generally left wing. From what I've seen of the discourse, some of you guys, I'm starting to suspect, you know, it makes sense that some of you guys probably have internalized puritanical views. We're in the United States of America. This country was founded, one of the early European settlers here were the Puritans. And their bullshit still permeates into our society to this day. So, our ultra puritanical views, which is also based on our Protestantism, or a really dumb misinterpretation of Protestant teachings and biblical teachings, because guess what? The Bible doesn't really say anything about about sexuality or sex that much. But I'm not going to get into that because that's not the conversation. Um, it says some things, but the Bible's pretty neutral on the term sex. Just saying. But I'm not going to get into the situation. Um, Other people have done videos on that, and I don't want to talk about this. But the main point is, we're having this conversation now for some reason. And you got people saying, well, what about the children? Now, this is hilarious because me being, I've been in Europe before. I lived there for a while. This is hilarious to me because let me tell you something. When they say, well, we don't want those kids exposing that, and I'm thinking to myself, looks like no, someone hasn't been on a nude beach in Spain or in France. Hmm, okay. Even for the case of the United States of America, it's like you got Mardi Gras, you got Carnival, and I've been to a Mardi Gras before, and let me tell you something. I've seen kids as young as like 6 at Mardi Gras. No one doesn't say shit about that. But all of a sudden, when we talk about Pride Month and kink, all of a sudden this is brought up. This is why I'm gonna make this very. I'm starting to think this is a freaking op. I'm really starting to think this is a fucking op that's going on right now because what happened? It's almost like it's immediate. This discourse on what about the children on Pride? This all started happening after a photo was shared by a far right wing, 4chan fuckwits, not understanding the context of what was going on in the photo with the 6-year-old and the two well, three gay guys in a gimp suit or whatever, as if she knows what the fuck that means. I mean, she's a 6 years old. She's gonna know what the hell it is. She's gonna think it's a guy dressed like a dog. These are kids. They're not gonna think anything else. Um, you guys act like these kids are gonna be like, oh, we know what it is already. It's a 6-year-old. They don't know. They don't know. Okay. And I find this hilarious because you got people talking about, well, a 6-year-old can't know this, and then at the same breath, right? This is the funny thing. I'd be seeing kids as young as 5 going into Victoria's Secret. Now you ask me, why that is okay, but Kink and Pride, that's not okay. I, this is what I love because it's like an intersection happening. You got homophobia and you got the sexism coming in all at the same time. Because it's like, y'all are fine with kids being exposed to sexualized images of women. So again, I'm starting to think, is this a situation where are the straights okay? I'm starting to think that's what it is at this point. Another thing is, right? I think it's an up because not only the photo thing, but what happened before this discourse started happening? We were talking about cops at Pride and Stonewall, and there was an op-ed in the New York Times, I think it's Washington Post or whatever. These newspapers that were talking about how, oh, it's a mistake. It's a mistake for the gay community to exclude the police force, and people were reacting to it, saying, no, that's bullshit. Do you guys know what Stonewall actually fucking happened there? It was the cops that came in and raided it, right? So it's supposed to celebrate, Pride's supposed to celebrate more than that. We don't need freaking cops here, right? Ever since that discourse, I want you guys to think of something. Ever since that, all of a sudden, we got people talking about what about the children and Kink and Pride. So this is why I think this is a fucking op, to be honest with you. This was either done by a far right fuckwit, which you find out that that's probably what happened, that wanted to shoot at, again, every Pride Month, these fuckers always want to, these far right lunatics always want to attack gay people any chance they can, um, and they always try to quote some bullshit, and they start open running their mouths. And also, it's probably because of the cops not being invited to Pride. I think there's a little thing going on there. And we know how the far right love the police state. So it's, I'm starting to suspect that this whole discourse is just complete bullshit. Because I'm seeing people say certain things, and I'm seeing some people, leftists supposedly, falling for this shit. Though some of it I don't think it's falling for it. I think a lot of it is internalized puritanical views that some people have. Um, Also, sometimes, I'm not going to bring this up, but I just find it funny to me that we're having this ridiculous conversation about this. And it's so convenient that this became a discourse right after people were saying we don't need cops at Pride. I find that very, very suspicious, at least for me. That this is where the discourse sort of blew up because people mentioned we don't want cops at Pride. So it's understandable if someone is to believe that this is an op. I know it's a conspiracy theory type of thing, but it's somewhat understandable because of how the coincidence of how this sort of discourse evolved. We went from we don't want cops at Pride to people talking about, oh, we don't need kink at Pride either. Like how did that make a jump? It's a weird jump, you know. I mean, it's interesting to me. But anyhow, folks, that's the video. Um, I just want to make my own thoughts on the whole situation because I think this whole thing is just complete bullshit. Um, yeah, my girlfriend, she's from Sweden, she was just like, the fuck, like I don't understand, like she doesn't understand, like American, like the puritanical thing going on in the U.S. So she was just like, wait, people are like freaked out over a picture of a girl with some couple of gay guys in a gimp suit. I mean, seriously? Like that's the worst thing, right? Like there are kids getting like bombed to oblivion and, being traumatized with seeing war violence. And somehow this is the most traumatizing event for kids. It's, she's just baffled by it. And I told her that's American Puritanism for you. That's what it is. It's ass backwards, and sometimes you have its own face up its ass. It doesn't make sense. So so um, I'll leave the video at that. And yeah, my opinion. Who gives a shit if there's King and Pride? Who cares? Nobody. Listen, kids are exposed that I've seen to regular cishet stuff on a different basis from Mardi Gras to Carnival, and nobody says shit about that. So, in essence, I think this whole discussion is bullshit and just another attempt for people to basically shut up LGBTQ people on their particular month that's coming up. That's basically what it is. They always try to do this shit every Pride, man. I'm telling you. They always try to find a way to fuck it up every Pride, the people who are anti-LGBT. They always try to, because they hate it. So whether it's this or whatever, I mean, that's what it is. So I'll leave the video at that.